Welcome to the Bible Breakdown. It's a black man and woman in America who no longer identify as believers. This show contains adult languages, themes, and isn't meant for children. As black people, we respect the history of the black church in America, but its current state is massively abusive, and we think the Bible might be part of the problem. Listen and let us know what you think. Peace. Hey, welcome back. How are you doing, sir?
Tired, but I am gonna brave through this.
You know what? I was so ready to just not do this, but I'm glad you're holding us accountable.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us again. We're here to read chapter 10 of Genesis in our Bible study. Our kind of free thinker, non-believer Bible study. And since we both have religious upbringings, we then have decided that after examining some of the tenets, this might not actually be a good book. We're going to go through just to check and see. So last time on Bible study, God killed everybody in the flood except Noah and his sons and their wives. They didn't need names, so it's fine. They survived the flood, and Ham sees his dad naked, so he's cursed. Anything else happen?
That's essentially big stuff.
And now, because if there's any such thing as karma, and I was terrible in my last life, I now have to read 32 verses. That's just a lineage of. Do you want to make any bets on if any women are going to be mentioned in this?
I say one.
You say one?
Yeah.
I'll say two, because I don't think there'll be zero, but that's a very real possibility. All right. So are you ready for this? I'm going to try to read it really fast because this is so boring. You get to do the interesting part. Okay, Genesis chapter 10. Now, these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue and after their families and their nations. And the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Sheba, Havilah, and Sabta, and Rama, and Sabticha, and sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begot Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, wherever it is said, even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Asher and built Nineveh, and the city of Rehoboth, and Calah, and Resen between Nineveh and Calah. The same is a great city. And Mizraim began Ludum, and Anahem, and Lehabim, and Naphtamhim, and Pathrusim, and Casuhim, out of whom came Istim, and Caphtorhim, and
I think those
Canaan.
are Philistines. Out of who came the Philistines?
That's not the word Philistine.
Yes, it is. Literally says the Philistines.
Where?
In my version, verse 14 says, "In Pathrushim and Casluhim, uh, quote unquote, out of whom came the Philistines in Capthorim."
Well, we
I'm looking
have
at. I'm in
in
the.
I'm in a different. I mean, mine says
Are you in the Bible app?
yeah. I'm on the
Okay,
King James version.
that's what I'm on.
I mean, once again, we can just use it as further evidence that, this whole straight from the mouth of God stuff, there just might be some errors and discrepancy. The word that said out of whom came is capital Philistim. So Philistim, which may be some form of Philistine. I don't know. Let's just say it is. And Canaan begot Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jezebite, and the Amorite, and the Girgaxite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and now they're just fucking with me, and the Hamathite, and afterwards were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. Cool. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboam, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries and in their nations. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam and Asher and Arphaxad and Lud and Aram. And the children of Aram, Uz and Hul and Gether and Mash and Arphaxad began Salah, and Salha begat Eber, and unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan, I guess his name didn't mean anything. And Joktan begat Almodad and Shelef and Hazar Mavith and Jirha. I feel like this was planned to get people to just stop reading this thing. Like, I want to give up. And Adoram and Uzal and Dikla and Obal and Abimel and Sheba again and Ophir and Havilah and Joab. All these were sons of Joktan, and their dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goeth unto Shepher to a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. I feel like that must be the hook. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations and their nations, and by these were the nations divided into the earth after the flood. Thanks be to God. Jesus. That was oh my goodness. And these are not like common names that I'm used to seeing or reading. I probably should have read ahead so I did the pronunciations correctly. Sorry if I got some of the pronunciations wrong. You can go read it and do it the right way if you want to. But now you know this is how reproduction went after the flood, even though I think in the next chapter there's going to be like 1 trillion people.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I feel like I dominated that. Did you have any thoughts?
I don't. It was just a lot of lineage.
I mean, something did kind of happen. Wouldn't they say somebody went somewhere? Like, I guess it was a little geography.
Yeah,
And how many did they mention any girls? I feel like it is Sheba. I thought Sheba was the Sheba, or I guess it was Seba, not Sheba. Wait,
it was a
wasn't one of
Seba and a Sheba.
okay, well are those girls' names? Like that's the other thing too. I don't know if I feel like they were just mentioning sons though. They didn't go out of their way to say anybody was a daughter.
Yeah, nobody cares about women.
So are we just gonna say there were zero women in the lineage?
Yeah, because they didn't specify. And usually, anytime that they brought up a woman, they like made a point to say that this is a chick.
Okay. Yeah, so and unto them were sons born after the flood. Yeah, so once again, I'm really trying to lay a foundation in this to understand why when I tell people why I feel like the Bible is anti-woman, this is another reason. Like their women are not even worth mentioning by name. So
You're the helpmeet again.
so I am pretty helpful.
All right, excuse me. Genesis 11. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, and they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach into heaven, and make let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, and the children of men build it. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it is called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was
Ha ha.
100 years old and begat Arpha,
So once
Arphazad.
again, this is a repeat of I remember that crazy name from the last chapter. But yeah, let's read them all over again. Why not?
Arphazad 2 years after the flood, and Shem lived after he begot Arphazad 500 years and begat sons and daughters. And Arphazad lived 530 years and begat Salah. And Arphazad lived after he begot Salah 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber. And Salah lived after he begat Eber 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And Eber lived 430 years and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years and begat sons and daughters. This is so much bullshit. I don't give a fuck how long they lived.
Word count. Well, I'm just like, okay, I guess there is more
Jesus.
information in this one because in the last one they just said the names, but now we also get their ages when they yeah, like just living a super long time. And they're mentioning girls. Look at the Bible progressing.
And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begat Ru. And Peleg lived after he begat Ru 209 years and begat sons and daughters. And Ru lived 230 years and begat Serug. And Ru lived after he begat Serug 207 years and begat sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years and begat Nahor.
Oh man, why are you so young?
And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200
Oh, there we
years
go.
and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 9 and 20 years and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah and 119 years and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, no, Nahor and Haran. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of the nativity in Ur of the Chaldeans. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarah was barren; she had no children. Don't they call her Sarah though? Sometimes.
You're getting ahead of the story. God changes their names
Okay.
from Abram and Sarai to Abraham and Sarah because what a difference. Spoilers,
But
sorry.
but Sarah was barren; she had no children. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. And they took forth with them from Ur of the Chaldeans to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. I don't give a fuck. And also, I just feel like this entire story was just, well, when they were talking about Babel and shit, I just feel like that's basically a metaphor for don't try to figure God out.
Yeah, God did not really was not up on cooperation. Like it was very I want you guys like bumbling and fuzzy because he says it right. Well, once again, one of my other favorite things that just gets skipped over all the time is once again God referring to himself in the plural and saying in verse 7, go to let us go down and there confound their language and that they may not understand one another's speech because he wants to limit them from reaching their potential. what a what a great guy.
Yeah, he's yeah.
So I guess we're just also just trying to establish a lineage for human beings after the flood, but I think there's going to be some indications because I think Lot ends up going off into another land and there's people there. Um, they did lay out kind of the topography earlier of like where all the different cities were. Like, oh, they mentioned Nineveh. I remember that from Jonah and the whale, which hasn't happened yet, but we'll get there. And I think they mentioned Sodom and Gomorrah, which is kind of juicy. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
And that's the thing too, because they're not really saying we're like who the women's fathers were. From what I was taught, I haven't read it yet in here, but like I think Abram and Sarah had the or Sarai at this point have the same father but different mothers. But when it got married, um, I guess just because it was Slim Pickens.
Right.
There's like little notes too, like footnotes. I never bothered to read, but it's just because there's already so much read. Oh, they got a little map on here too. That's why it's so crazy to me too when they try to pretend like these people were like Caucasian or very light skinned people, like Charlton Heston. It's like this is like dead ass like Middle East Africa, and it's like hot. It's very close to the equator. Like these people would have been dark.
All right.
Okay, it's your turn.
No, it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn? I get so confused. I'm so sorry. Okay, so Genesis. Or were you done with 11? Anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Anything that you liked?
The metaphor of Babel.
Okay, cool. Okay, Genesis chapter 12. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will shew thee. Now that doesn't seem right. Maybe there's just some. Okay. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse thee them that curse thee. And in thee thou shalt all families of the earth be blessed. Maybe God's like high right now. He sounds very, he's like, I just like you so much. It's just everyone who likes you, I'm going to like them. So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all of their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in what? Oh wow. They said that so slick. And the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go unto the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. So this is, okay. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared unto Abram and said, Unto thy seed I will give this land, and there builded he an altar unto the Lord, who had appeared unto him. And he removed them from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west and Hai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord, and he called upon the name of the Lord. And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold, now I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they say, That is his wife, and they will kill me. But they will save thee alive. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. And it came to pass that when Abram was come into Egypt, and the Egyptians beheld the woman that she was very fair, the princes also of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her before the Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And he entreated Abram well for his sake, and he had sheep, oxen, and he asses, manservants, and maidservants, and she asses, and camels. And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, What is this that thou hast done to me? Why didst thou now tell me that she was thy wife? Why didst thou say, She is my sister, so I might have taken her to me to wife? Now therefore, behold, take thy wife, take her, and go thy way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. The end.
I just feel like
No, how do you feel?
this book is. I
Come on, this is our hero. God just
feel
got
like
through
this
like
is a.
having a big
Feel
bro
like,
talk with him.
I feel like the lessons in this Bible are far and few between. I'm getting a lot of filler, and so far, 50 Cent's book is way better, and even Rick Ross's book that I'm currently reading is way
Wow.
better. Like, I've learned more from them than I have learned in the 9 or 12 verses now that we've
Yeah, I'm actually
or
rereading
chapters.
I'm rereading The Art of War. And, since I'm reading it at the same time reading this, I'm like, wow, The Art of War is such a better book. Like it's, concise and direct and it's trying to
Yeah,
help
just get
you.
the. I guess that's what I'm saying about this. Get to the fucking point, Bible. Like, you're giving me a lot of shit that I
Well, once again,
don't
a
need.
lot of this stuff wasn't written or even I'll say created.
I can tell nobody's ever read this. There's no fucking person who sat down and read this shit from cover to cover. Because if they did, they would literally be like, "This is bullshit and unnecessary."
Well, that happens quite a bit in seminary. Like when people do start studying the Bible, um I think, I don't know, maybe Mark Twain. We'll say Mark Twain said it. Who cares? And like he said, the best cure for Christianity is reading the Bible. Like,
Oh my god,
but
yes.
like most people don't read anything. Like I said, the people treat this like a user agreement. It's like, shit, I just don't want to go to hell. Just agree.
Yeah, yeah.
And once again, like I don't think like in the Old Testament, like there wasn't really a concept of hell for ancient Hebrews. Like that's something that came along with Christianity because it was borrowed heavily from classical Greek and Roman myths, and they kind of just equated Hades and hell, um, so that they could keep that vestige. But whatever. Um, Once again, what was the? Oh, there was a part that just they kind of glazed over here. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, in verse 5.
This is making me an atheist.
Yeah, duh. And
Like any person who who reads the Bible or who tries to convert me, I'm just gonna say, get the fuck out of my face.
well, I mean that's one tactic. I'm gonna try to be nicer.
No,
Because
get the fuck out of my face. And Mark Twain did say that quote, by the way.
yay points. It's just that I think I'm trying to be more empathetic because I used to identify as a believer. Um, I
Get the fuck out of my face.
but
Like now, I used to be nice. Like when Jehovah's people witnesses would come, I would like go along with it, or like that old lady who didn't have the heart to. Now I'm just gonna say, no, I don't believe. Leave me alone.
well, I mean, oh, okay, that's better than get the fuck out of my face. But yeah, I think these are conversations
No,
where
if it's Jehovah's Witnesses, I might say get the fuck out of my face.
once
If it was that old
again,
lady, I
these are
might not say that.
you're you have you eaten yet? You sound a little cranky.
I I'm just this is
You're just
bullshit.
getting fed up. That's
Yeah.
understandable. Once again, when I was kind of coming into the realization of this, because I have read the Bible before, just not all in order. And I was really young when I was reading this stuff because, like, at school, like, we straight up read the Bible, like, went around everybody reading verses and stuff like that, and had to memorize a lot of it too. And there was just always some sort of apologetic or some lesson for kind of explaining away the terribleness. But even we didn't read the chapters. It wasn't until later I read the chapters where like they were like cutting up whores and stuff like that. We'll get there. But the okay. So verse 5 where it says, and Abram took Sarai his wife and Lot his brother's son, which another word for that would be nephew, and all their substance that they gathered. So he took his wife, his nephew, and all their stuff, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And so I'm like, okay, so like that's their slaves.
Okay. Probably.
And I mean, it's more than likely because that's the same kind of language that like slave traders would use and stuff. Like when they would say like how many, souls were on board a ship or something like that.
Well, the Bible is no stranger to slaving motherfuckers. So
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that, this is supposed to be like a moral sort of guide, but God's favorite dude is a slaver. And also too, like it was always explained to me that Sarai, they haven't said it yet, and I don't know if it comes up or not, or maybe we missed out on it in the lineages or something. But like, apparently Sarai was actually his sister too. Like, it was his half sister. So it's like, guys, God's favorite guy is, an incestuous, slave holding liar, because he also just straight up lied to Pharaoh. It's like, and then God punished Pharaoh because Abram lied. Like, this is all very toxic.
Yeah. And again, there's no way that anybody's reading this shit. They're going to church in the same rotation of 16 verses and then saying that they believe in giving some fucking guy their money who's using that money to drive his fucking Benz and pay for his house with his family and
secret family.
And while your grandma needs proper health care.
Yep.
So
making him feel bad about it too. One of my pet peeves would also be the preaching against, sex positive, just that, sex is bad. I always taught that, it's bad. Your body's bad. You're cursed. That's why it hurts to have babies and you bleed every month. And but very often there is sort of this trope of like, pastors being quite promiscuous themselves. Even the good Dr. King was known to get around. So
yeah, he also allegedly stood by while his friends raped somebody when he was in college. So
I mean, hey, peer pressure, it's like the Supreme Court guy, Kavanaugh. The guy, things get rapey, man.
I mean, he did that. Malcolm X was a closeted homosexual or bisexual.
Which isn't a crime. But it
for
is.
the 1960s, it was.
Well, true. And it's also hypocritical, too, because the nation is very adamant against homosexuality.
Well, to be fair, he broke away from the nation, but whatever.
But, I mean, he was still part of Islam. And Islam, I don't know if you've seen those videos of gays being thrown off the rooftops.
I think he was actually bisexual, not just homosexual.
Once again, that's enough to get you pitched off a roof.
Maybe. I don't know. But all these motherfuckers got some shit in their closet.
Yeah, people, once again, I had a talk the other day with my son about how, like, I just enjoy people in their lane. Like, I don't need to enjoy everything about a person to enjoy something about them. So,
well, to be fair, I like all these people that we're talking about. I'm just saying,
well, except Abram. I don't really like Abram.
Oh, well, I'm talking about the people I named. I don't give a shit about Abram because he probably wasn't even real, to be honest.
So, what would you, if we had to sum up these 3 chapters into a lesson, what would they be?
Don't try to become God, and do what he says, and he'll take care of you, even if you're, even if you're a not good person.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but like, I also wonder too, how did Pharaoh know that the reason that there were plagues was because he was boning Sarai? Like, that was kind of a big leap. Like,
Plot holes.
I mean, that was like, it's
this,
like, what have you
this
done?
thing is full of plot holes.
Because it's like, all of a sudden, start banging this chick, and then we get all these locusts, and it's got to be because it's the guy's wife, and his God's mad at me. It's like, really, sir? Like, okay. We just get locusts sometimes, so.
We're only 12 chapters in.
They didn't even say what the plagues were. Like, of all the things that they went into detail about, they were like, oh, he had sheep and oxes and asses and manservants and maidservants. And she had some asses and cows. She ain't have some as much. But man, Sarah must have been fine, though. She was turning heads.
Yeah, or it was just slim pickings, like you said before.
I know. It's just like, I never seen her before. It's like this is before magazines and porn.
Yeah.
All right, so which can we do you want to do a teaser for next Bible study?
I don't know what's coming next.
Let me
So
do a
next
little. Oh,
time,
this is when Abram and Lot have to part ways.
don't even know about that story, but okay.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. And then I think we're gonna get into Sodom and Gomorrah.
Next time on
The Bible study. We don't even know
Bible
what are we calling it? What
Bible breakdown.
Bible breakdown? All right.
Yeah.
Break it on down.
So Sodom and Gomorrah. Abraham leaves Lot.
Oh, and then
Chapters 13 through 16.
and then we'll also get into the basically the rape of Hagar. I don't think you can have consensual sex with a slave.
Possibly not.
Yeah, I think there's too much
Since Genesis is, well, once we complete our next 3 chapters, I think from that point we should start doing 5 chapters
why?
because Genesis is 50 chapters. So we would, once after tomorrow, if we do tomorrow, we'll be at 15.
Okay.
We'll have completed 15, so we'll be at 16. So then we could do 16 through 20, 21 through 25, 26 through 30, and so on.
You're not wrong.
Because
This makes for we'll have to read fast. I have to stop interrupting. But I love to interrupt.
I just want to get through this because it's very, yeah. Kudos to the guys for committing to write this shit.
Keep in mind too, when they were writing this down, I don't think they knew it was going to be like part of the Bible. Like once again, like I feel like these are different collections of some of the especially with the lineages and stuff. Like some of the stuff are probably like duplicates, but they're not exact duplicates and stuff. And this is very bizarre.
It's very repetitive. And
definitely is that. So I guess this is like this is like part of the Torah because this is really Judaism.
Yeah, it's the first 5 chapters of the Bible is part of the Torah, or not the first 5 books.
The Pentateuch.
Yeah, that's what it's called. I don't know.
Sure. There's no police for this. I don't know. There's no police for anything now. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Well, how's work?
I did not work today, so.
Well, that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
So why are you working out so late?
Because I got busy today, so.
Fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I read this morning. I can't run at night. I'm too. I used to be able to, but I'm too spent now. So I went running in the morning.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I'm done if you are. I'm so extremely tired.
I am done. I am going to enjoy the rest of my evening. You have fun, man. Get some rest.
All right, thank you. So, tomorrow, same bat time? Sure. All right, well, thanks for joining us. I'm for anyone who's offended, just know we're coming from a good place. I actually let go of this because I wanted to be a better person.
For me, I don't like conforming to things that don't make sense to me. So it has nothing to necessarily do with me
Do you
being
mind
a good
saying that
person.
again? Because your audio got weird.
I don't like conforming to things that don't make sense to me. So mine has nothing to do with really being a good person. More so me wanting to be a more peaceful person.
Better.
For myself, yeah.
All right, I won't be pedantic. Yes, but yeah, so for I hope some people got something out of this. I know I did. Learned a little bit, and I did not like reading all those lineages though. I did not like that at all. That's just, and I'm mad because there's more of it coming up. So, all right. Well, I will bid you adieu, and until then, this has been the Bible Breakdown.
All right. Good night.
Night.
Peace.